the 2017 Mazda MX-5 Miata. What you are looking at is the best-selling sports car of all time. That's right, it has outsold the Porsche 911 and the Chevrolet Corvette, and it has millions of fans worldwide. I'm Jay, and welcome to this latest episode of Car Buzz Unboxing Reviews. And the Mazda MX-5 Miata, it's a car that needs little to no introduction. It is just an absolutely wonderful little sports car. And I also want to thank DGDG.com for letting Car Buzz come on down and film today. So I just want to give you a little bit of, or a brief bit of Mazda MX-5 Miata history. The first generation debuted way back in 1989, actually. And what you were looking at right now is the fourth generation model that was only unveiled in 2014. And it first went on sale for the 2016 model year. So yeah, the car you're looking at, it is very, very new. It was unchanged for 2017 as well. And over the years, from the second, third generation, the Miata has actually gotten larger and a bit heavier. And with this fourth generation model, engineers and designers, they wanted to go back to the original model's roots of cutting weight and making it a bit smaller as well. But before I go any further, let's start up the engine. Alright, so that was the sound of the naturally aspirated 2-liter 4-cylinder with 155 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 148 pound-feet of torque at 4,600 RPM. Power, of course, goes to the rear wheels only through a 6-speed manual transmission. Or if you absolutely have to have it because you can't row your own gears by yourself, you can get a 6-speed automatic for an extra $1,205. Again, my advice, save $1,200, row your own gears, or at least learn how to. The best way to enjoy a Mazda MX-5 Miata is, without question, in a manually equipped car. Now, this exterior here, like I was saying earlier, Mazda designers and engineers were given the key task of, they got to figure out how to cut weight, make the car smaller dimensionally as well, and cutting weight also meant making the car smaller. And just look at it, every little curve was designed very, very specifically. There's a very short front overhang right here. Even at the rear, look at how, as you go along the side here, how the rear just sort of tapers all the way back in. And it's all done on purpose. And if you compare this fourth generation model to the original first generation, you're going to see a very, very similar size comparison. And personally, I think I love these rear taillight design. Some people honestly didn't like them, and I can see why, but I love the way it just sort of cuts right into the body. There really isn't a bad angle to this car. One of the common complaints about the MX-5 Miata is that it's sort of a girly car, and I think anyone who says that is very, very badly mistaken. The Mazda MX-5 Miata, what you have to understand, it is a purist 2-seater roadster. Or there is also the new MX-5 Miata RF, which stands for retractable fastback. Now, I did a previous unboxing review of that car last summer, and it's just hitting the market right now. And basically, it's just like this MX-5 Miata Roadster, same engine, same interior, except it has a Targa-style retractable roof, sort of like you can get on the Porsche 911. And I really, really love that car, but it also adds a little bit of weight because it is a hardtop, basically, specifically 113 pounds. This engine here, wow, it's just a great little engine. Skyactiv technology, exclusive to Mazda. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.8 seconds. 0 to 117.3 seconds. Top speed is only about 129 miles per hour. But you got to remember, the MX-5 Miata is not all about speed. Especially when you do the power to weight ratio, it's actually very, very good. Fuel economy, 27 miles per gallon in the city, 34 on the highway, and a combined 30 miles per gallon. Not bad, really. Total weight, just over 2,300 pounds. This is a very, very light car. Mazda has achieved its goal of reducing weight beautifully. What's also beautiful, this interior. Now, this is the top-of-the-line Grand Touring trim. You have the Sport base model, Club mid-range, and then this Grand Touring. So this has all the bells and whistles that you can get. It's got the black leather trim seats. There are also heated sports seats as well. And I just love the red stitching there, and I just think it looks great with this what they call the Soul Red exterior paint, which costs an extra $300. That Soul Red exterior paint, but I think it's worth it, especially when I get the pricing. You just see how reasonably priced this car is in general. And just look at this interior. I mean, look, the previous third generation MX-5 Miata had a great interior as well. In fact, all Miatas have. But what I really like about this one here is compared to the third generation, Mazda's got rid of a lot of that black piano plastic that undoubtedly it scratched very, very easily. Here, everything is very, very straightforward. Nothing doesn't belong here. Everything serves a purpose. I just love that 7-inch color touchscreen display. You have a trip computer, Bose AM, FM, CD, 9-speaker audio, HD radio, 2 USB inputs, a leather-wrapped steering wheel, leather shift knob, and handbrake. Also automatic air conditioning, carpeted floor mats. Look at the interior. Yeah, it's very well appointed. However, it is a tight fit. If you're a tall driver, and I'm saying, I don't know, over 6 foot, 6'1" or so, you're going to find this a tight squeeze. But if you're like me, only about 5'6.5", you're going to be very, very comfortable in here. And what I also found great is just the excellent seating position for the driver. It's just a purest driver's seating position. Now, this is Mazda's infotainment system that I've talked about on previous Mazda models, such as the Mazda 3, Mazda 6 sedans. Yeah, I really like this system. In fact, it really does sort of remind me of what Audi offers as well, and even BMW. For the most part, it was very intuitive, logical. It didn't do any sort of rebooting, but there's a few little bits here and there that I think Mazda can refine in the future, just to make it a little bit easier for people to work with. And again, you can just control that touchscreen with that rotary dial in the center console, kind of similar to iDrive, BMW's iDrive, in fact, but it's still less complicated than iDrive, just in my opinion. All right, so let's talk about some safety here. A lot of standard features. You get the advanced dual front airbag, side impact door beams, adaptive front lighting system, a high beam control, ABS braking system, dynamic stability control, traction control, lane departure warning, rear cross traffic alert, blind spot monitoring system, and a tire pressure monitoring system. This particular car is also equipped with the advanced keyless entry for $130, which I guess it's kind of nice. It's only $130, no big deal. There you go. You can plug in your smartphone there and the USB input. A little bit of storage, and also notice where the two little cup holders are located, right behind the armrest, and see how they're just sort of stuck right there, and they're removable. That's right. Again, there was no permanent place to put cup holders because they had to reduce weight and therefore reduce the car's size. So if you don't want the cup holders there, it's easy just to remove them. Short throw 6-speed manual. Personally, I learned to drive a stick shift in a second generation Miata, so this car is very, very special to me. And just, again, you buy a Miata, you also get a 6-speed manual. It's just sort of how it goes. Also love the steering wheel. It's perfectly sized. It's not too complicated. It's got your standard button controls on. It's not like a Porsche 911 steering wheel that doesn't have any buttons, which I prefer, but this one's not bad at all. And the removable, folding soft top here. It's manually operated. There's no motor here. Motors weigh too much, so that's why you just kind of pull it right back. And what's great is that you can just pull it up or pull it down, even in traffic or at a stoplight. All right, so how does this thing drive? In a nutshell, it's utterly fantastic. Remember, the Miata, it's not about going fast, as you can tell from its 0 to 60 time, for example, but rather the journey itself. You want to take this thing on twisty mountain roads or even just driving it around town. It is an absolute blast to be in. It is all about pure driving enjoyment. So let's talk some pricing here, because this is really, really good. Now, the base price for the Sport model, which again, that's the base model Sport, is $24,915. So about $25,000 for a base Miata. Now, there's only one engine, the 2.0 liter naturally aspirated 4, that's available in the US. So That's it. It keeps it very, very simple. If you want to upgrade to the middle-level club, that's going to cost $28,600, and the Grand Touring, which is this model, begins at $30,065. And only with a couple of the options, plus an $835 destination fee, grand total for this car is $31,330. Oh yeah, here's your trunk, 5 cubic feet. Use it wisely. Anyway, so the pricing, in my opinion, I would just either go for the base sport model or the top of the line Grand Touring. Why? Look at, if you start at almost $29,000 for the club, the mid-level club model, then the Grand Touring just starts at a couple $1,000s more, specifically just over $1,700 more. You're getting more features with the Grand Sport for not a whole, or excuse me, the Grand Touring for not a whole lot more money than the club. So, just my opinion there. What's some competition? Well, you had the Fiat 124 Spider, which is essentially a rebadged Miata with unique front and rear ends and a different engine. A 1.4-liter turbocharged inline-4 with either 160 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque, or 164 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque in the Abarth version. I did a review of that car, but me, personally, the MX-5 Miata is what I favor. I prefer the roadster version as well over the RF, like the RF, but I guess I'm just sort of more of a Miata MX-5 purist. All right, so what do I like here? Well, for starters, it's an MX-5 Miata. It's the best affordable two-seat sports car on sale today, perhaps of all time, and I just love this new exterior design. Now, what don't I like? Look, if you're tall, you're gonna have a tough time being comfortable in either the driver or the passenger seat. And I also noticed there's a lack of a telescopic steering wheel. Kind of strange. The trunk is kind of small, but what can you do? But however, if you address both those issues I just mentioned, you're going to add weight, and weight is the MX-5's enemy. Now, a couple of other competitors that have come up over the years is the recently rebranded Toyota 86. There's also the Subaru BRZ. Both those cost right around the same thing, but they also have very small rear seats, and they're both coupes only, whereas this is just, well, a purist two-seat roadster. It really doesn't get any better than that. There's a reason why Mazda has sold over 1 million of these since April of last year, but I'm out of time today. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time.